Greetings, dear viewers, and welcome to Royal Telly. Your host, Chloe, is here to share some intriguing whispers from the palace corridors. The grand halls of the palace are abuzz with tales of Prince William's alleged transformation. The once relatable royal is rumored to be storming around staff, demanding to be called sir, and obsessively chasing charity revenue. It seems as if the prince is preparing to launch Windsor Wealth Management rather than readying himself to be head of state. The whispers paint a picture of a prince who is far from his public image of being approachable and grounded. Instead, he is said to be snapping at people, even housing charity volunteers, demanding to know, how much money have we made? It's a far cry from the boardrooms and earnings calls, and a stark departure from the expected demeanor of a royal in service of the people. The shift is so drastic that it's as if the chill William we once knew has completed his rebranding to "Call me sir before I call security." The change is palpable, and it's causing a stir in the palace and beyond. The irony here is hard to ignore. When Meghan Sussex requested certain standards, she was dubbed difficult and diva-like by the tabloids. But now, with William's alleged behavior, there's a surprising hush from the press. No documentaries, no scandal panels, not even a primetime pearl-clutching special. If this were Prince Harry, the world would be in an uproar. But with William, his behavior gets spun as caring about the numbers. It's a rather generous portrayal for what could be described as controlling, aggressive, and insecure behavior. Despite this, the press continues to describe him as steady and reserved. It's a stark contrast to how Meghan was vilified for something as trivial as avocado toast. The double standards are clear, wrapped in a Union Jack bow and served with a side of selective outrage. So has the chill William turned into "call me sir before I call security"? Let's delve deeper. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, the glaring double standards. Remember when Meghan Sussex, a woman of grace and poise, requested for certain standards? The media didn't hesitate to label her as difficult and diva-like. Tabloids were brimming with endless front-page hit pieces, painting her as the antagonist of the royal narrative. But now, we have Prince William, allegedly barking orders and flexing titles at volunteers. And what does the press do? They remain silent. No documentaries, no scandal panels, not even a primetime pearl-clutching special. This isn't about demonizing William or canonizing Meghan. It's about highlighting the stark contrast in the media's treatment of these two royals. Meghan was vilified for the most mundane things. Remember the avocado toast incident? Yet when William allegedly exhibits controlling and aggressive behavior, it's spun as him being caring about the numbers. If this were Prince Harry, there would be an uproar, a global scandal. But William's alleged behavior is glossed over, his actions painted in a positive light. He's called steady and reserved, while Meghan was portrayed as a demanding diva for asking for the same respect. The double standards are glaringly obvious, and they aren't subtle. They're wrapped in a Union Jack bow and served with a side of selective outrage. The media chooses who to demonize and who to glorify based on their own biased narratives, and it's high time we acknowledge this. This isn't a random observation from gossip columns. This is a discernible pattern, a trend that's visible to anyone who cares to look. The people who are expected to protect the image of the royals, the insiders, staff, and volunteers, are the ones who are whispering about these cracks in the facade. And why does this matter? Because it paints a picture of the monarchy that's far from the ideal we're often sold. It highlights the fragility that's dressed up as formality. The double standards aren't subtle. They're wrapped in a Union Jack bow and served with a side of selective outrage. The whispers we're sharing are not just random gossip. They're coming from inside the palace. This is a significant point to consider. The people who are allegedly voicing these concerns are not external critics or tabloid journalists. They are insiders, staff, and volunteers. These are the very individuals who have been entrusted with the role of protecting the image of the monarchy. They're the ones who see the inner workings of the palace, the ones who bear witness to the true colors behind the royal facade. These are the people who have worked tirelessly to uphold the image of a calm and collected future leader. They have seen the smiles for the cameras, the well-rehearsed speeches, and the polite handshakes, but now they are allegedly seeing a different side, a side that they feel compelled to share with the world. These whispers aren't just about a prince losing his cool or being overly concerned with charity funds. They are about a potential future king who seems to be forgetting the very essence of what it means to be a royal, to serve, to lead with grace and humility, and to treat all people with respect regardless of their status or position. These insiders, these brave voices risking their positions and reputations, are telling us that something is not right within those palace walls. They are hinting at a shift in attitude, a change that could potentially impact the future of the monarchy. And the question we must ask ourselves is this: if these insiders are willing to risk so much to share these whispers, how alarming must the situation be? And what does this mean for the future of the monarchy? These whispers, these brave voices from within, they paint a picture that is far from the image of calm, steady leadership we've been presented with. If these whispers hold truth, this isn't a picture of calm future leadership, it's fragility dressed up as formality. But why does this matter? Let's look at the bigger picture. In the grand scheme of things, we are talking about more than just palace whispers, double standards, or even the behavior of one prince. We are talking about the importance of treating people with dignity, a lesson that members of the British royal family are supposed to embody. Yet it seems that these values have been forgotten by some. Let's take a moment to appreciate the example set by Prince Harry and Meghan. Despite stepping back from royal duties, they have continued to carry themselves with grace and humility. They've shown us that one doesn't need a palace safety net, taxpayer funding, or a press machine to make a positive impact. They've started their own charitable organization, signed deals to produce content that uplifts and educates, and have been advocates for mental health and social justice. They've done all this while under intense scrutiny and without the protection and support of the palace. They've shown us that true strength comes from treating people with dignity. It's about standing up for what you believe in, even if it means facing criticism. It's about using your platform to raise awareness and make a difference, not to demand respect or accumulate wealth. Harry and Meghan have demonstrated that it's not about the titles you hold, but the actions you take and the way you treat people. This raises questions about the current state of the monarchy. If these allegations about Prince William are true, then it's clear there is a disconnect between the monarchy's stated values and its actions. It's time for the royal family to take a long, hard look at itself and consider the example it's setting. So let's not get lost in the palace whispers or the tabloid headlines. Let's focus on the bigger picture. Let's remember that true strength isn't in yelling about donations or demanding a title. It's in treating people with dignity. That's the lesson we should take away from all this. That's the example we should strive to follow. As we wrap up this intriguing journey through the palace whispers, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've uncovered. We've delved into tales of a prince, once known for his relatable persona, who now allegedly storms around his staff, barks orders, and obsessively chases charity revenue. It's a far cry from the service before self ethos we associate with nobility. We've also cast light on the stark double standards that persist in media portrayals. A prince's alleged aggressive behavior is spun as caring about the numbers, while a duchess's request for certain standards is labeled as diva-like. The press's silence on the prince's alleged behavior, juxtaposed with their vilification of the duchess for something as benign as avocado toast, exposes an undeniable bias wrapped in a Union Jack bow. The whispers we've heard aren't mere rumors. They are reported accounts from palace insiders, the very individuals tasked with upholding the royal image. If these accounts are true, they paint a picture not of calm future leadership, but of fragility masquerading as formality. The bigger picture here is that true strength isn't about loudly demanding donations or insisting on titles. It's about treating people with dignity, as we've seen demonstrated by Harry and Meghan. They've been serving the public without the palace safety net, taxpayer funding, or a press machine to prop them up. If the palace gates are hiding such alleged behavior, perhaps the monarchy should shift its focus from trivial matters like nail polish at Wimbledon to addressing the alleged unraveling happening within its own ranks. This journey through the palace whispers has been an enlightening one, and we hope it has given you some food for thought. As we always say here on Royal Telly, dignity matters. It's not just about the titles we hold, but how we treat those around us, especially when we think no one is watching. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Royal Telly. Until next time, this is Chloe, signing off with a reminder, dignity matters. D.